From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, PDP presidential candidates campaigns in Katsina, pledges to restore peace and reopen borders. House of Representatives gives 48 hours ultimatum to CBN governor to appear before it over cash withdrawal limit. Dignitaries troop to Abuja residence of Serikin Sudan Wurno Ambassador Shehu Malami to condole family. Thai rescuers find 5 bodies, 1 survivor after warship sinks. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. Beginning with politics, presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party Atiku Abubakar on Tuesday in Katsina says he will restore peace to the Northwest region if elected in 2023. Addressing a mammoth crowd during his presidential campaign rally, Atiku also promised to reopen the nation's borders. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
Thousands of PDP faithful thronged Muhammadu Dikko Stadium in Katsina to listen to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The PDP presidential candidate promised to improve the economy and restore the lost glory of the state as the citadel of learning. Atiku Abubakar also promised to reopen all land borders to rejuvenate the nation's economy and restore hope in the minds of the people of Katsina State and the country at large. If you vote PDP, I will make sure university education is one of my #1 priorities. Businesses and trades will come back to life. We will make sure citizens of this country are going back to their normal businesses without any fear of intimidation or harassment. While receiving over 100,000 defectors from the ruling APC in the state, PDP National Chairman Yochi Ayu said the party is coming back to relieve people from the shackles of abject poverty. Nigerians have had enough of insecurity, poverty, and educational setback. All the infrastructure development in Katsina State was done by PDP. APC has disappointed people of Katsina State and Nigeria in general. Katsina State PDP governorship candidate and the Director General PDP Presidential Campaign Council Alhaji Yakubu Lado Damarke and Dr. Mustafa Muhammad Inwa charged the electorate to expose elements buying PVCs in the state. I believe in what the presidential candidate said about insecurity, the economy, tertiary education, etc. For that reason, if you give us the mandate, I promised to carry everybody along to achieve this set objective. This is a very serious message for everyone here. If you go back to your communities, tell those that were not opportune to be here to expose people buying PVCs and make sure you vote the right candidates that will improve your living conditions. The PDP campaign team had earlier paid homage on the Emir of Katsina to seek his royal blessing. Abdullahi Ismail Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has declared that the APC will beat other political parties silly in the 2023 general elections. Speaking in Calabar on Tuesday during a town hall meeting with stakeholders of the party in Cross River State, Tinubu assured of his competence to win, lead the country and turn it into a haven of peace and prosperity for all Nigerians. The APC presidential candidate said Nigerians have been disappointed on several occasions, but assured that the time had come to look beyond and focus on the development of the country, which holds a better history for all. He went on to reconcile the party's governorship candidate in the state, Senator Basi Otu, and his co-contender, Senator John Eno. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, on Tuesday met with university students in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Obi at the meeting said his administration will create an enabling environment for them to thrive, referencing some of the biggest tech companies like Facebook and Google, which were created by students. The former Anambra governor, who is scheduled for a rally in the South state, told the gathering that his government, as governor of Anambra State, created a thriving environment for innocent vehicle manufacturing, among others. To create room for such a feat, he is promising loans and grants for small and medium-scale businesses formed by students if he becomes Nigeria's leader next year. This, Obi added, will be a priority for his government. With youth unemployment and underemployment at 55.4%, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, Obi maintains that no graduate should be without a job. Still in politics, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has said the conviction of his campaign organization's Director General Doyin Okupe over alleged money laundering will not break his resolve to be Nigeria's president. Obi said this on Monday during an interaction with journalists in Uyo at the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Akwa Ibom State Council Secretariat. The Labour Party presidential candidate said he was undaunted by the conviction and will continue with his campaign and allow the due process of the law to take its course. On the impression that he does not have political structure to win the presidential election, he said he was determined to dismantle the existing political structure in the country, which encourages corruption and spreads poverty among Nigerians. The LP presidential candidate added that his priority would be how to secure a united Nigeria and pull people out of poverty, adding that he would work towards the realization of the Ibaka deep sea port in Akwa Ibom if elected. Meanwhile, Director General of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Doyin Okupe, has resigned his position following his conviction over money laundering charges. Okupe announced his resignation in a letter addressed to the presidential candidate of the party, Peter Obi, dated 20th December 2022. Okupe's resignation comes hours after he was convicted over money laundering charges. Okupe in the letter said he has invested so much into the Labour Party campaign to allow his personal travels become a source of distraction, hence his decision to quit. The Independent National Electoral Commission has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with a National Union of Road Transport Workers and Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria to mobilize the transport unions on the scale and dimension of transportation requirements for the 2023 election. Noel Sampson reports.
There are about 170,000 polling booths in Nigeria's 36 states and 774 local government areas, which makes the distribution of materials and equipment very paramount. Hence, the involvement of transport unions, who will be shouldered with the responsibility of transportation of elections materials and personnel.
Over the years, the Commission has come to rely on the partnership with the NURTW and NATO to provide vehicles for the successful deployment of personnel and election materials. However, in view of the challenges we encountered in the riverine areas of the country, it has become necessary to include the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, comprising sailors, dock workers, and those in related trades in our logistic planning and delivery. INEC is now in partnership with 3 unions, the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the National Association of Road Transport Owners for Land Transportation and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria for the riverine areas.
Stakeholders who are involved in these logistics activities pledge their support to the Commission to help have a successful 2023 polls.
Everybody has spoken. What is important is commitment. Commitment, dedication, to serve this great country. We are here on behalf of the union to say a very big thank to you, sirs, and to let you know that we are going to support this, our program, to make it as successful as everybody has spoken.
I therefore call on all the stakeholders to take this as such with high sense of responsibility. I want to appeal to all of us to put in our very best.
This MOU therefore commend all the stakeholder workers more closer towards achieving the above goals.
However, the Commission seized the opportunity to ask the leaders of these unions to appeal to the members to go get their PVCs to enable them vote during the elections. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Federal High Court in Abuja has nullified the Executive Committee of the African Democratic Congress led by Chief Ralph Nwosu. Justice Binta Nyako on Tuesday also affirmed Senator Patricia Akwashiki as the authentic national chairman of the party. According to Akwashiki's counsel, Benson Igbanoy, by the court order, the actions of the Nwosu-led executive between August 21 and December 20, including the sack of the presidential candidate Dumebi Kachuku, has been invalidated. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, women in the private sector and their counterparts in politics are creating alternative ways to ensure that more women are represented in elective positions to provide access to leadership opportunities for other women. This was part of the deliberations at a consultative dialogue involving Nigerian female governorship candidates across political parties and other stakeholders. The House of Representatives has again rescheduled Thursday this week for the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to appear before it. The decision by the House during plenary on Tuesday came after Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila read a letter from the CBN governor requesting that a rescheduled date be given to him to appear because he is out of the country for official engagement. The report.
Reacting further to the letter, the Speaker stated that if Emefiele is still not back from his travel, his deputy can represent him to explain the controversial cash withdrawal policy.
I would like to know what that official assignment at this critical point in Nigeria that will keep him away for 2 weeks. So in my humble opinion, I think because this House will also more than likely close on Thursday for the Christmas break, I think we should resolve to invite the CBN governor to brief this House on Thursday morning. And if for any reason it is verified that he is unavoidably out of the country on Thursday, that he asks his deputy governor or anyone who is well equipped to fully brief this House so that we do not carry this thing until next year.
Members frowned at Emefiele's non-appearance, noting that it is disrespectful to the Nigerian public and not only to the House.
The crafters of the Nigerian Constitution, Mr. Speaker, did not make error to create House of Representatives to call for public office holders to account for their activities on behalf of Nigerians. I think at this point in time it is quite important for us to let such public office holders know that it is not Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila that is summoning the CBN governor or Honorable Yusuf Gagdi or Deputy Speaker or any member. It is the collective wills of the Nigerian people that are inviting the CBN governor to come and explain.
Mr. Speaker, I want to concur with your submission. And on this particular matter, I want to appeal to members of the House. If you look at the context of the letter written out, as the Speaker has rightly said, the letter came out of here when the gentleman was out of the country. I would just want to appeal to the members of the House with the Speaker to go about giving a new date for the invitation to come back to the House to come explain to Nigerians what we were waiting to hear. So we don't just belabor ourselves with all that is on here.
The House had last week resolved in its plenary to invite the Apex Bank boss to shed more light on the cash withdrawal policy.
In the meantime, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Oho, has declined an application by the Department of State Services to arrest and detain the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Justice Oho, while declining the motion ex parte filed by an applicant in the absence of the respondent, said the secret police did not provide any concrete evidence to substantiate its claims that Emefiele was involved in terrorism financing and economic crimes. At the proceeding, the judge noted that the name of the respondent was given simply as Godwin Emefiele without a material disclosure that he's the same person as the CBN governor. Justice Oho therefore refused to entertain the suit until credible evidence is brought before the court as justification for it to grant the request. The move by the DSS comes after the recent controversial decision of the CBN to redesign the 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes as part of measures to reduce the quantity of cash outside of its control and discourage certain criminal activities such as kidnapping and for ransom. It also follows its announcement of a new policy limiting cash withdrawals for individuals and corporate bodies. Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni has ordered immediate release of 16-year-old boy detained by police for insulting the governor. A statement signed by his Director General, Press and Media Affairs, Mamman Muhammad, the governor said he was not aware of the arrest and detention, insisting that he neither ordered for it nor condoned detention of anyone. The statement, however, notes that although the government is open to criticisms, such should be constructive and meaningful. Although he was arrested on December 11, 2022, it came to public knowledge on Monday after the minor's father called on police authorities to release his son. It was gathered that the minor was arrested in Guru and later transferred to the State Investigation Division of the Nigerian Police Force in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital. Father of the boy, Garba Isa, is a laundry worker and appealed to the governor and commissioner of police, Garba Haruna, to release his son on passionate grounds. The statement reminded social media users to be responsive and responsible, to respect the rights of everyone, political party, religious or socio-cultural differences. The Kano State Hisbah Board, an agency enforcing Islamic religion morals, has arrested 19 youths for attending a same-sex marriage ceremony. Hisbah Board spokesman Lawan Ibrahim on Tuesday in Kano said the youths gathered to witness the wedding of two suspected homosexuals, Abba and Mujahid. The arrest was made after Good Samaritans hinted the board about the same-sex marriage ceremony. Among those arrested were 15 females and 4 males. Ibrahim said those arrested will be handed over to the police for necessary action, as most of the ladies claimed they were invited to the wedding from neighboring states. Ibrahim stressed that the board is determined to eradicate all vices in the state. Moving on to security, the Plateau State Police Command has rescued 4 kidnapped victims who wrestled their abductors with bare hands to escape from being taken into the bush. PPRO Plateau State Police Command DSP Alabo Alfred, who confirmed the incident on Monday, said 3 of the victims were injured while trying to escape. Ado Musa completes the report.
Briefing newsmen at the command's headquarters, DSP Alabo said the victims were kidnapped on Thursday night near Science School Kuru in Jos South local government area of the state on their way to Jos from Abuja. According to the spokesperson, upon receipt of the report, the command set up parameters around the area and was able to rescue the victims.
At about 600 hours, a team of police operatives took to Kasa Forest of Barikin Ladi, where they came in contact with the kidnapped victims and rescued them. The victims are Ismaila Suleiman M. of Biu. They were traveling to Borno State. Shoaibu Aruna M. that's male of Gombe State. And number 3 is Lucy Jeremiah Tampa of Shikem Mangu, LGA. She was found unconscious with deep cuts on her legs. The victims were taken to hospital for treatment. Our work is paying off.
Explaining how she held one of the kidnappers and disarmed him before their rescue, one of the victims said she decided to drag the gunman because she did not want to be taken into their hideout where she believed they would suffer.
We are tired, so we left them behind and remained 2 of them. So the other one with a knife and the other one with a gun. When we are going, so I now talk to my colleagues and I'll tell them that I'm not reaching to where they are taking us to. I will not reach, and I will try my best, and God will be in control. So if I do it, they should come and help me out. So immediately I rushed to the other one with the gun. I grabbed him. So the other one with the knife. When I grabbed him, he shouted. So the other one with the knife turned and ran to me. He removed the knife and wanted to stab me in my...
The spokesperson of the command, while appreciating the bravery of the woman for disarming the kidnapper, called on people to always report suspicious activities in the state, adding that security is everybody's business. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Thank you, Ado, for that report. Armed bandits are holding residents as human shield after they were harassed out of their camps by military fighter jets on Tuesday in Ansadao Emirate of Maru local government area of Zamfara State. Huge collateral damage was recorded when armed men targeted by NAF rushed into Mutunji community, shielded themselves from the airstrike. Residents told Daily Trust that armed criminals on more than 300 motorbikes rode into Dandala, where they took residents as hostages, and are also regrouping around Donguru and Madada communities. Meanwhile, Governor Bello Muhammad Matawale of Zamfara State has condoled with the families of victims caught in military fire against marauding bandits in Maru local government area of the state. The governor expressed his sympathy over the incident in a statement signed by his Special Advisor, Public Enlightenment, Media and Communications, Zailani Bappa, on Tuesday.
As you are aware, on Sunday, the 18th days of December 2022, our security forces carried out a well-coordinated aerial and ground onslaught on the enclave of the recalcitrant bandits, who were planning to invade Mutunji, Malele, and other surrounding villages under Lansado district. The successful preemptive offensive by the Ghana military forces has yielded significant results worthy of commendation. Several bandits have been neutralized, their settlement destroyed, and a large cache of their weaponry recovered. It was a complex and daring operation by our dry security forces, which has immensely contributed to making the community around Lansado safer.
All right, we are now being joined by Shehu Umar, Daily Trust correspondent in Zamfara State. Hello, Shehu, and welcome to News Hour.
Thank you.
All right, so can you give us an update on the situation?
Yes, the update is that the troops deployed to take fight to the bandits enclave in Lansado Emirate in Maru local government area in Zamfara State are moving deeper into the forest to take the fight to them. Residents this afternoon reported seeing military aircraft, and the aircraft have carried out series of aerial bombardments on non-bandits positions. And there are also reports coming out from the area that the surviving armed criminals are regrouping and are taking residents as human shields. There are reports indicating that some of the bandits on motorbikes are regrouping near Dandalla community and Dandalla community, Dangurugu and Madada. So the residents there were stopped by the armed criminals from moving out of the villages. It is like the criminals are taking them as human shields, and they are stopping them from moving out of their houses to take shelter elsewhere.
Okay, Shehu, we actually understand that the governor has condoled, with the families of the victims. Now, is the state government planning any compensation for them?
No, there's no clear statement from the state government as to whether there is any compensation for the victims of the attack, but in a special broadcast this evening, Governor Motole commiserated with the families of the victims of the attacks. He also held the bravery of the troops. He said the fighting must continue, and all non-criminal enclaves must be taken out in the coming days. He held the military over what he said the success recorded in the ongoing fight against armed banditry in the state.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Shehu Umar, for an update on the situation in Zamfara. That was our Daily Trust correspondent in Zamfara State. And with that, we'll move on to more stories on News Hour. Dignitaries from all walks of life, including Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, visited the Abuja residence of the late Sarkin Sudan Wurno Shehu Malami, who died in Egypt on Monday. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports that late Prince of the Sokoto Caliphate and former Nigeria's ambassador to South Africa marked his 80th birthday in 2017 with the presentation of a book titled Shehu Malami, a Prince of the Caliphate, Selected Speeches and Commentaries. Malami recently featured on Trust TV's program Reminiscences.
I was a chairman of what they call the hospitality committee of the student movement.
In the UK?
In the UK.
Yes.
So the idea was anybody coming from the UK, if it was important enough, we could organize lunch, meet him, or some visitors from Nigeria, like Sarkin Daura and others coming, we organize to meet them, just to keep in touch with what's happening at home.
Dignitaries from all walks of life, across political, ethnic, religious, and of course, all divides have been trooping into number 10 Ancestors Court, Oshun Crescent here in Maitama, Abuja, Nigeria's capital, to register their condolences over the death of the late Sarkin Sudan, who has been described by many as an icon, a pillar, and of course, a man who has contributed immensely to the development of not only the Sokoto Caliphate in the northern part of the country, but to the entire nation as a whole.
He has been a father to all the siblings, okay, all these years. So you can understand that if suddenly he's out, he's leaving a large gaping hole.
He's certainly an icon of our family. That is the descendants of Usman and Fodio from the Sultan Muhammad Bello lineage. And over the 87 years he has lived, he has sojourned on this earth, Alhaji Malami has presented himself as a man of major accomplishments.
A dear, confident friend. We have been in close relationship with late Sarkin Sudan as far back as 1980, when he was my chairman on the board of Union Bank of Nigeria Limited.
I knew him We were doing NYC in Sokoto, and he was the front runner to be the next Sultan. And he did lectures for us. So he's somebody who is very arrogant, very intelligent, hardworking, who takes life very simple. He's a prince of the caliphate, and intellectual. I remember when we were in university, Wilmot Bala Usman used to say he represents the elites of the country.
Baba lived a peaceful life. Like many people say, he was a gentleman. You never heard him fighting with people in the newspapers or engaging in scandals or things like that. He lived in peace with people. And living in peace with people is a tremendous quality. And there's no company he worked with as a chairman or anywhere where it has been said there was a scandal, or he embezzled public funds, or he cheated this one, or he bribed this one, or things like that.
He is said to be one of the very best fine gentlemen the North has ever produced. He's said to be one of the icons that will be missed, not only in the public sector or in the public life, but also in the rich traditional institution of the Sokoto Caliphate. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. How stolen assets return to original owners. Do stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at England's squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. We told you that PDP presidential candidate campaigns in Katsina pledges to restore peace and reopen borders. We also told you that House of Representatives gives 48 hours ultimatum to CBN governor to appear before it over cash withdrawal limit. Moving to more news, glowing tribute continue to pour in for the pioneer Vice-Chancellor of Gombe State University, Professor Abdullahi Mahdi, who died at the age of 77. Mahdi died on Saturday at the Federal Teaching Hospital in Gombe. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail files a special tribute on the life and struggles of the former Vice-Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria.
Born 1945 in Goza local government area of Borno State, Professor Abdullahi Mahdi bagged a Bachelor of Arts degree in history from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in 1975. In his academic career, the late Professor of History held the position of Vice-Chancellor of his alma mater, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, a pioneer Vice-Chancellor of Gombe State University, GSU, and Vice-Chancellor Gombe State University of Science and Technology, Kumo, which is yet to take off. Family members of late Professor Abdullahi Mahdi speak on his legacies.
He's very, very keen to seeing the progress of others. He is a man that likes identifying with people that work hard, and he is a man that inspires people to work very hard. And subsequently, due to those characters, he has actually associated so much with several personalities with the view of improving the lives of human beings. And in that regard, he has contributed in touching the lives of so many people. As you can see, during the condolence, there were several revelations of some of his generosity. He is someone that is keen in ensuring that people work hard to make it in life, and he is above all a very wonderful father and a caring husband to his wife.
The late Professor Abdullahi Mahdi is loved by his family, friends, colleagues, and students due to his legacy of mentorship, generosity, and dedication to service. Some of his students holding top positions in public service said they will continue to miss him, but his legacies live on.
I have seen him as a very powerful leader, a leader that has a lot of passion in his words.
The only vice chancellor that recruit more than 300 graduate assistants in that university, and among them there are a lot that have become doctors, including myself.
The moment you hear Professor Mahdi, you will now hear that he's somebody that is very strict about doing the right thing.
The most humble person I have actually seen. During his time when he was the vice chancellor, you'll be surprised the way he walks around in the campus. You understand? He will move around as if he's nobody.
The deceased is survived by 7 children, 3 males and 4 females. Some of them are professors and a major general in the Nigerian army. During his time as the Vice Chancellor of Gombe State University, led Professor Mahdi planted thousands of trees and created a conducive environment. Over 2 million trees were planted under the Gombe Ghost Green project that he initiated. Professor Abdullahi Mahdi is no more, but his legacy, hard work, and academic excellence and mentorship will continue to be remembered. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail, reporting for Trust TV.
Moving to health, the death toll in the cholera outbreak in Ekureku community in Abi local government area of Cross River State has risen from Saturday's figure of 20 to 51 on Monday. The clan head of the community, Bernard Egbe, stated this when he received the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Sandy Ono, who was in the community to empathize with them. The clan head, who described the situation as unfortunate, said many infected with the disease were receiving treatment at various health facilities in the area, while 4 of the victims receiving treatment were in critical condition. The cholera outbreak, which started on Thursday, affected 10 villages that make up the Ekureku clan, he said. The PDP governorship candidate, Sandy Ono, while noting that he felt the pains of the people, however, urged them to remain hopeful, adding that if elected, he would ensure safe drinking water for the people of the state. As the state and federal government hospitals are struggling to attend to the health challenges of millions of Nigerians with a few medical doctors, the NMA is calling for the protection and employment of more medical personnel to lighten the burden on the system. The call was made as part of resolutions reached at the end of the National Executive Council meeting of the association in Asaba. The report.
The national president, Dr. Uche, speaking after the meeting, said government should protect doctors by providing conducive work environment, which is crucial to physicians. He also called on the government to urgently employ more doctors to replace those that have abandoned their work for greener pastures to avoid over-laboring the remaining doctors. The association condemned the kidnap of doctors in the country, citing the case of Dr. Gidam, who was kidnapped in Borno State while on duty.
The NEC of NMA seriously condemned the progressive kidnapping of doctors across this country. It has become a national pastime to relay the news of a doctor kidnapped almost every day and every week. We call on our government to humbly understand that from us, we have to also protect ourselves. If we are not protected, nobody should blame us for doing whatever we can within the limits of the law to protect ourselves. We use this opportunity to call especially on the government of Borno State to redouble the effort to secure the release of Dr. Alhaji Bulama Gedam, who was kidnapped on the 15th of March, 2022 in Damasak. He has stayed long enough in captivity. Let them also employ more people, because as doctors are leaving, the little that are left now have excess workload and they get into burnout. NEC wish to thank the federal government and some state governments like the government of Delta State for paying the new hazard allowance, and call on the federal government to pay to our colleagues that are lecturers in basic medical faculties in our universities, because a doctor is a doctor.
The chairman said despite acute shortage of doctors,
the Ilorin Zone of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has auctioned 7 vehicles as part of measures to deter corruption. The process, which was applauded by the buyers and observers, was described as transparent, while other agencies were advised to emulate the EFCC. The report.
Prospective buyers were given the opportunity to inspect the vehicles 24 hours before the actual auction.
We noticed that a couple of you complained about the vehicles not being, the pictures not being clear. And so we wanted to keep it very transparent and very clear. So we decided to bring out the vehicles so that you can see them. And I think it's only nice that you see what you're buying. You know, it makes a lot of sense than you just seeing it in a picture, so that at least when you look at it, you'll be able to know where to start to bid from. Absolutely nobody has an interest in this from EFCC. You know, all of my colleagues and I, including the bidders, no interests, honestly. Absolutely none. This is transparent, this is open, and what you see is what you get.
The auction commenced with rules of engagement spelt out to the prospective buyers. The highest bidder got each auctioned vehicle, while payment is to be made within 48 hours.
You are supposed to pay in, if you win the bid, is the highest bidder. That's what it is. So we arrange the cars when we get to the highest bidder. If there's nobody putting in money again on top of it, bagam bagam, then that person wins it. You know, so the highest bidder takes it. So they will not have a reserve buyer in case the highest bidder is not able to pay. Then the second next to the person is the person that will now call to pay. So we are supposed to pay within 48 hours. We will only give the account number to the winners. You know, those are the people who give the account number. And this account number is as provided by the federal government.
This man, who came from Edo State and was lucky to purchase 3 out of the 7 vehicles, gives his experience, while an observer also shared his view on the exercise.
3 vehicles. You know, because the car is not for only me. It's for my wife, my brother, also me. You understand? That is why I need the car. Already I'm here. I think if I reach here, the car will cheap. But when I reach, I can't go back with empty hand. I say, okay, let me take the one where I can take.
So far, the process of the bidding for the forfeited vehicles have been so transparent since yesterday. And we want to commend the help of the EFCC for making this process a public affair. So it's a very good one. We want other agencies, particularly Nigerian Customs Service and other agencies involved in the forfeiture of assets, to ensure that whatever is going to be disposed of is made public, just like what we are witnessing right now.
There are over 30 vehicles yet to be auctioned. The EFCC says cases of these yet to be auctioned vehicles are still pending in courts, adding that only those they secure final forfeiture are being sold.
Nigeria's government on Tuesday received 22 bronze stolen from the Benin Kingdom by colonial administrators over a century ago, just as it tasks Britain and other countries holding on to such cultural assets to take a cue and return them where they belong. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports that the returned artifacts were officially handed over to the Nigerian government in line with signed agreements between the two countries. The report.
It was a solemn and emotional event for both countries as 22 of the repatriated artifacts originally belonging to the Benin Kingdom returned home. It was a result of years of negotiations between the two countries anchored on sustained mutual relationship and trust.
I want to thank the federal government of Germany and its officials for these unprecedented moves that culminated in this event. In particular, I want to thank the heads of government and governments of the various German regions and their officials. I want to announce that Nigeria is not only seeking the return of Benin bronzes, but all Nigerian antiquities that were illegally or illicitly exported.
It belongs to us, and it's rightfully ours, and should be where where it belongs, which is here. But nevertheless, we will share it with the world, because for us it is a common human asset.
To the German government, in whose custody the stolen artifacts were kept for over 100 years, it's time to right the wrong and return the treasures to where they belong.
What would it mean to us to be deprived of our cultural heritage? Not to be able to marvel the Gutenberg Bible in Mainz, to be unable to admire Martin Luther's writings, to stand in front of a sculpture by Käthe Kollwitz in Berlin, or at Goethe's desk in Weimar. It evokes a sense of loss that I can hardly imagine. To you here in Nigeria, however, this loss has been your reality for your whole life. Today, we are here to return the Benin Bronzes to where they belong.
This historic moment that brings together not only our two countries, but also our two continents, Europe and Africa, marks the start of something new. A different way of coming together that is grounded in mutual respect and interest in one another, and is driven by the desire to learn from each other.
And for Nigeria and Benin Kingdom, which the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says is on its way to becoming West Africa's cultural hub, it is a dream come true as they reunite with their cultural heritage and identity. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Senate has confirmed Loretta Onochie, Special Assistant to the President on New Media, as Chairman of the Board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The confirmation of Onochie and 12 others as members of the NDDC board followed the presentation of a report by the Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on NDDC, Senator Amos Bulus, on Tuesday in plenary. The report.
The Senate, however, stepped down the nominations of Dr. Pius Odubu, Edo State, and Engineer Anthony Okanem, Imo State, for not appearing before the Senate Committee on NDDC for screening. Explaining why the two nominees were not screened, Senator Amos said there was no information explaining their absence by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Babachiti Omoworare.
The committee wishes to recommend for confirmation the nomination of the following as chairman and members of the governing board of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Loretta Ifeanyi Onochie as chairman, governing board of NDDC. During the screening exercise, the committee observed that two of the presidential nominees were absent, and there was no information from the Special Assistant to Mr. President on National Assembly matters.
Before their confirmation, some senators objected to Onochie's confirmation, saying she is not from oil-producing community. However, Senator representing Rivers East, Senator George Sekibo, noted that the issue is not clearly defined in the act establishing the NDDC.
Submit that we should add a clause in our resolution calling on not only this president, but all future presidents who will have to implement the act to comply in their nominations with the requirements of indigenship. Because what the law says is that the nominees should come from oil-producing areas.
So whatever will form a bottleneck to the inauguration of the commission, I think we should leave it. Because the truth argument about host community and oil-producing community have not been properly defined. It has not. It's going to create more problem, even the PIA. That problem will be there.
While confirming the nominees, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, charged them to hit the ground running by embarking on projects that will ensure peace and stability in the Niger Delta region.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Loretta Ifeanyi Onoche from Delta State, representing South-South, as chairman in the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Loretta Ifeanyi Onoche from Delta State, representing South-South, is hereby confirmed as chairman in the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC.
The Senate President also requested that copies of the audit reports be made available to the National Assembly.
The federal government has banned cash withdrawals from all public accounts. The Managing Director, CEO of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, Modib Bohaman Tukur, disclosed this at a parley with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu. A statement by the agency's spokesperson, Ahmed Dikko, on Tuesday said the decision is because of the consistent devaluation of the Naira, adding with the introduction of a new Naira policy, Section 1 of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act has automatically been activated. Tukur further stated that most cash withdrawals from government accounts, including payments of ESTA code, are often in excess of the cash withdrawal limit provided by the Money Laundering Act, adding that this exposes innocent public servants to being liable to imprisonment. He said the NFRU is already developing an advisory to the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, all governors and local government council chairmen to direct all public servants to open domiciliary and Naira accounts ahead of the commencement of the policy, which becomes compulsory by law. While calling on governors and council chairmen to organize training for market men and women on how to use ATM and POS services, the NFRU spokesman refuted the news going round that the NFRU will block federal government accounts in January 2023. On the foreign scene, rescuers have found one more survivor and recovered 5 bodies from a Thai warship that sank over the weekend in the Gulf of Thailand, Navy officials said, as hopes faded for the 2 dozens of people still missing. The HTMS Sukhothai, a corvette in service for 35 years, sank on Sunday night in rough seas with 105 people on board. Officials have acknowledged that there were not enough life jackets for all on board. The Navy said an earlier tally of 106 people on board was incorrect because one sailor failed to join the journey. The Navy had initially said at a news conference in Bangkok that 2 people had been rescued on Tuesday, but later said updated information confirmed that only 1 person was alive, adding that 5 bodies had been recovered. According to those figures, 76 people have now been rescued, 5 have been found dead, and 24 are still unaccounted for. The sports sector in Nigeria has since 2015 recorded commendable feats both locally and internationally. These developments formed part of the series showcasing the gains of the present administration. Adeni Ajishafe has more.
In continuation of President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard series organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development has taken its turn to roll out the achievement of the current administration in sport from 2015 to date in Nigeria. While outlining the administration's performance in the sports sector, Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, reeled out Nigeria's achievement in different competitions the nation participated in, as well as the developmental programs recorded both in youth and sports. Dare specifically mentioned the Commonwealth Games in 2022, where Nigeria broke the jinx of winning for the first time 12 gold medals at the Games, and Nigeria's outing at Rio Olympics in football, where the nation won bronze. While fielding questions from newsmen on the National Youth Service Corps NYSC, Dare said the rationale behind the scheme, which came on board after the Civil War, was to unify Nigeria and solely for nation building.
The central rationale was the need to promote the unity of this country. We were just coming out of the Civil War. We had sang the song Tongues of Tribe Media, but in spite of the power and the spirit behind that song, we still saw that our unity as a nation was tenuous. We did not even know ourselves. And you know that the lifeline of any nation is its youth. Once the youth are captured, their patriotism is captured, that can spread across.
On football development, Dari said there are plans to get Nigerian football back on track, citing the past when the core players of Nigerian national teams were picked from Nigerian league football, adding that with the interim management committee set up to see to the smooth running of Nigerian football, football in Nigeria is heading for greater glory.
We must return back to the DNA of our football, rebuild our domestic league, pick our Nigerians who are physical, committed, that can come in. The Nigerians in Arsenal are also Nigerians. We also need them, but we need to build the domestic league.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, was on ground to add verve to the scorecard series of the day.
The man took one look at me and said, "Are you the big man from Nigeria?" I was very embarrassed. He said, when they were talking about big man, I thought it was JJ Okocha.
Nigeria has witnessed a plethora of development and achievement in youth and sport, and will be hoping for more in 2023. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
With that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.